All right, we are recording. Welcome, everybody. This is the DVMUG Zoom meeting for Tuesday, January 26th. And we have the following topics that we're going to cover. We have videos for these 5 items. And we will start with a little video that's not on this. So I'll escape out of here. Let's see. So we need to escape out of full screen. Stand by. Okay, escape out of full screen. And we have this kind of cute little video here. Oh, British humor. Chris may appreciate this.
All right, let's see it.
You've seen this one?
No.
Okay, here we go.
Username dvmartin@gmail.com.
Password.
Okay, all
Oh, yeah,
right.
okay, you sent this to me. I've seen it, but let's see it.
Username,
dvmartin@gmail.com.
password.
Okay.
That's incorrect. Do you want to try again?
Yeah, sure.
That's incorrect again.
It was definitely 5 asterisks.
I've sent you a link. You can reset your password from there.
Okay.
You can't use a password you previously used.
Brilliant.
Please enter a new password.
Password.
Too weak.
Rock.
Still too weak.
Diamond. Hard granite. Man punching.
That password is too strong.
Man punching.
Your password needs to contain at least one number.
7 men punching each other.
It needs to contain at least one special character.
7 men punching each other?
Not special enough.
7 men punching each other.
No.
7 men punching each other. Ole!
Your password contains too many digits.
I'll cut the ole.
No, it contains too few Spanish references.
7 Spanish men punching each other.
Please choose a security question.
How many Spanish men are
You have to choose from the following options. So, mother's maiden name.
Harris?
No, your mother was married before.
What?
Your father's nickname.
Dad?
I hadn't finished. Your father's nickname for your divorced mother's maiden name.
Can't answer any of these questions.
What's your favourite noise?
Oh.
It needs to contain at least one number.
12.
And one Spanish reference.
12 Spains.
Okay, your password's been reset. Do you want to set up a touch ID? Beep.
Was that it?
No.
Why did you beep?
Why did you touch me? Now enter your new password.
7 Spaniard.
That's incorrect. Do you want to try again?
So you got to watch it a couple times to get all the references.
Why?
So that was shared. That was on Twitter. Steve Martin posted that on Twitter, and I had a hard time getting the video because it's not easy to save stuff off of Twitter. You can't save it directly. Okay, I'll stop sharing my screen.
My screen.
And we will go to Q&A, close. So everybody's in the screen. Wave, now everybody's in gallery mode. So say hi to all the YouTube people who are watching it later. And I'll go into gallery view and see if we have some questions here. So I'll go into gallery view. No, speaker view. Okay. Is Carol Greenlee here? She's not here yet. Sometimes she's late. She had some questions on the BBS that are unresolved.
Camille is here.
Yeah, but
Camille.
you can't see my face. It doesn't, it's not recording or showing me. Share screen, do I have to hit that?
No,
No.
start video. Start video down at the bottom left.
Well, no matter what I do, now there's a line across the video and it says start video, it's a red line.
Okay,
And
do
then if
that.
I hit it, choose video settings, select a camera.
Yeah. Do you have
Uh,
a Do you have a camera? What computer are you on?
The one you fixed.
Which is what? Remind me.
It's the desktop where you put in a new SS hard drive or something.
Is it it's not a mini, it's an iMac?
Not, yeah, uh-huh.
Well, you should have a camera.
I know. There's a green light up in the left corner and it says it's recording. It shows my name, but it.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. On the bottom, on the menu bar in Zoom, where it says start video, there's a little up caret next to that where you can select the video source. Do you see internal video?
Choose says choose virtual background, choose video fiber filter, video settings, or FaceTime HD camera
Yeah,
built in.
yeah, choose that.
Well, I did, and it's not showing.
There's something wrong.
It hasn't shown me for a while. That's all right. I do have some questions though. so-
Okay, hold on. You had a question from last week,
Yeah,
and let me get that on the screen. Stand by. Let me share the screen because I have it up here. And I'll share the screen. There's this. So here's her question. These are
Yeah.
questions from last week you weren't here, we didn't get to, right?
right.
Okay. I don't understand the first one. Does emailing ability still work in the Mac Mail app? Well, that's the only thing it does is email.
Well, when I want to respond or reply to an email through the Mac Mail setup, there's nothing there to send it out. I can answer it, I can type into it, but I can't send it anyplace. There's no,
You mean your button bar is missing?
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
you just can turn that back on. So you can hide and show the menu bar. Maybe you've just hidden it. Let me get Mac Mail up and make a message. Where am I at here? I'm not used to Big Sur. New message. I'm gonna close this. New message. So you make a new message, and what you're saying, you're missing this bar up here at the top with the little send icon?
Yeah,
Do you see the red and green
I
and
do.
yellow
I
button?
see the buttons, yeah.
And you see nothing to the right of that?
I've seen the three stripes.
That's
with
the
little-
send button right there.
Yes, I can recognize that now, yeah.
You don't have that?
I don't think so, no.
View, customized toolbar. And if it's messed up, you can drag the default set into the toolbar. So if you've got it messed up, you should be able to drag this up to here, and it'll reset the factory and it should look exactly like what I've got, the factory default.
Okay, well, how do I get to that screen that drag your favorite items into the toolbar? How do I get there?
View, customized toolbar.
Oh, okay, great. I'll play with it later.
Okay. Or if you had a message open and didn't that, I believe you can say message. There should be something up here for message send somewhere. Nobody ever does it that way, but
I've been looking,
message-
but I never find it.
right there,
so-
send.
Hmm,
You should be
okay.
able to go to message send but this is basically, you should see all this stuff. On the right, you're missing all this.
I can't remember about that at all. I just
Okay, well,
remember
go
that
look
one.
at it while we're in the meeting. You can get back to us. Okay, so we're gonna quit this. What's your second question? Oh, yes,
Oh,
you should do this. Mac
Okay.
Updater was updated to version 2. So yeah, you can do that.
okay,
They, if you paid for it in version 1, you have to pay to go to version 2 at an upgrade price, but I believe I've never gotten a notice for version 1, but version 2 also requires Mojave or higher. So the High Sierra machines don't get the notice they're done. That's as far as they can go.
I've
think
got
you may-
I have Mojave now, don't I?
Yeah, so in Mojave, you may get the message. I think when I knew there was 2 out, I just went around and did everything and upgraded it to 2 as a demo.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it's slightly different, same functionality. They changed what's in the menu bar a little bit, but
I do have one other question, if that's
okay,
okay.
we're done with those 2. That's done. we answered
Have
that.
you ever had a program, or would you bring anybody on that would talk about whether to be cautious of using Google and Chrome and all those things? I keep getting all these messages that say, oh, Chrome is going to track you till the day you die, so to speak, and Google is going to take down everything but your most private information. And it makes you scared, you know, it says you all really ought to change, get rid of all that stuff and take this instead.
If you're
Is
concerned
all
about
that
that,
a bunch of junk or what?
don't use Google Chrome, use Safari. Are you using Chrome?
Yeah, I've always used it. Well, since I put it on here for
Well,
a
if you're
year or
worried about
so.
that, don't do it. Do
Well,
Safari. It's the most.
I'm not, but I don't know whether I'm supposed to be or not worried. Just ignore that and keep using it because they're not tracking down everything I do and say.
No, if you're in Chrome and you log into your Gmail, to your Google account,
Uh-huh.
and you don't log out, they track the hell out of you.
Okay, so at least you should shut it off then at night or something, or when you're not using it.
I would suggest if you're worried about it, go to Safari and log out of your Google account so you're not logged in while you're going everywhere, and then they don't know anything about you.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you.
And you can also, people don't realize this, but if you log into your Google account and go to the management, somewhere in there they track your search history, and you can turn that off so it doesn't do that.
Oh, that would be nice to know about.
All they do is track you so they can show you relevant ads. That's
Is that what it is?
they're
Yeah.
an ad company that happens to do a search engine.
Okay,
That's how they make their money.
okay. That tells me what I wanted to know then. Thank you.
Okay. What else we got? Why is John on this screen and not on this screen? That's weird. Okay. Go to gallery view here. What else we got? Surely you must have some more questions. iOS 14.4, is that right? Was released a couple hours ago, and Apple TV I know had an update that I did, and I presume the watch probably got upgraded at the same time. I haven't seen that yet.
I just finished running the updater for the watch.
Yeah, so I presume there was a watch. I haven't seen a Mac OS update, but they said on MacBreak Weekly this morning, they said there was a kernel problem, security breach. So that would affect everything, including Mac OS. So presume there's a Mac OS security updates coming for Mojave, Catalina, and Big Sur. That's usually what happens when there's a security issue. They upgrade them all. They're all running the same basic kernel. Here's your chance, people. We got another 15 minutes before we start running videos. We do have 5 videos.
Joe,
Yes. You ready to go to videos?
no,
Mhm.
Kathleen's got her hand up. Kathleen, you're muted.
I just had a quick question. Can you tell me what WD Discovery is? I have that on my computer and I don't know what it means.
Where on your computer?
In my down below in my dock.
Western Digital.
Do you have you have a Western Digital hard drive, and that's probably utility you installed, and you don't want that. You want to get rid of it.
So
Any external hard drive you have, don't install their software.
so that was from my time machine.
Some external drive that you have connected or did at one time.
Okay.
You have
All right.
you have an external box that says WD on it.
Just my time machine.
Yeah,
Does it
that's
say
what it is. And
that's what it is.
and actually, we do have videos about AppCleaner today.
Yeah,
So
there you go.
That's gonna show you how to get rid of it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Janet Chesney had a question, and so does Janet Johnson.
Right.
Go ahead.
Janet Chesney?
Oh, I have to, okay. Today in the contacts app, I went to a person's name and he's been in there forever and I had a lot of notes, but I noticed that the notes were doubled. And I noticed that I didn't have a card anymore for his wife.
Ugh.
And something was screwed up. I think it was probably using a different account. I try to use just iCloud for one account, so everything should be there. None of the other accounts are turned on, but it was like that. And I also, all the notes, I took away the ones that were duplicated. And the next thing I knew, they were back. And I don't know what happened. It's like it suddenly opened up a different account duplicate of this contact. Is that something that happens? And it took away, it's like maybe it opened in my email address instead of iCloud or something, but those are all turned off.
Hmm.
I've seen people store extensive notes in the contacts app. And it always makes me real nervous because it's not really a robust app and it really wasn't designed to, keep extensive stuff in there, and it can get screwed up. And if it does, it's not easy to fix it other than restore it.
Oh. Well, the notes weren't so long until they were doubled, but it also didn't show his wife's name as a contact. She had a separate contact.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden it was back. Everything was back except that it didn't delete the notes that I had deleted. So I don't know. I know this is a weird.
Never heard of it.
What I always tell people when there's something not right on their computer is what should be the first thing you do?
Restart.
Restart.
There you go.
But John, I've been having problems with my contacts app too. It's like I keep getting this spinning ball when I'm just trying to make updates and stuff.
Yeah. Other people have reported that. Ken Marks, you've reported that before. Weirdness. Is he here, Ken?
No.
He's mentioned several times that weird things spinning and trying to enter things and they don't enter, and it's like, yeah.
Is there a better? Should I just take my contacts over to Gmail or Google?
Well, if you sync your contacts from anywhere in Google or Yahoo or Apple, they still go into the contacts app. So that's where the problem lies. So it doesn't really matter where you store them. I think you'd have the same problem.
Okay.
Unless you just went to the cloud and did like Gmail on the cloud, did your mail on the web and your contacts on the web, then it wouldn't be in that. I don't know. Lots of people have reported this kind of problem. This contacts hasn't been changed in forever. And I wish they would do a better this is what's weird. The contacts icon in iOS and macOS are not the same. And Apple, when they make changes, they're the same everywhere. And so like, maybe they're planning on getting to contacts at some point and doing more things with it. I don't know.
I have another question.
Discussion on
what
on the Reddit Mac site. I don't know if you watch it, but there's a guy in there who was telling the story of how he cured the spinning ball problem. Mainly it was, in his case at least, it was because there were several different devices that were not syncing right through the cloud. So that's, and his solution was a bit draconian, but it worked. He basically wiped the contacts on all his different devices and then went into the cloud and got the cloud straightened out, the contacts in the cloud straightened out. and then turned on devices one by one. He said that cured all of his problems.
Oh,
Corruption.
It's not easy, but he said he worked.
John, thank you. That's great. John, my original question, why I put my hand up is because I still can't get my iMac to recognize more than one Seagate backup drive. And I have already Seagate 4T that I use with Carbon Copy Cloner. And
Wait a
that,
minute. We use Seagate. What? Seagate, you formatted them with Seagate softwares on your computer? Is that what you're saying?
no, I have I have Seagate little backup drives.
Yeah, but you didn't install their software, right?
No,
Okay.
no, I don't think so. But the problem being, I can't get my computer to recognize more than one. It'll only recognize the Seagate 4T, which is, probably okay because it backs up, everything to Carbon Copy Cloner and it updates regularly to do that. But meanwhile, I have a 1T and a 2T Seagate that I don't seem to be able to use. And I bought new cords to see if that was a problem, but that doesn't seem to be the problem. So I thought, well, maybe what I need to do is wipe them and start over. I don't know. I don't know.
Did they ever work on this computer?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, when you plug them in, open disk utility, does it see them?
No, I don't think so. I think that was the problem. I can't see them anywhere.
Do you have another computer you can plug them into?
Yeah, I do.
Let's see if they show up there.
I haven't tried that one. I've been swapping out computers because like I was talking about last time, I took my husband's little iPad Air and I gave him my iPad Pro, which is much newer and much better, and he can sync with it and everything. It's much better for him. And it's so heavy, I don't use it. I don't pack it around. So I've been playing with the MacBook Air, but I haven't tried hooking either one of these into that. I've been clearing it off.
What computer it is you're plugging it into? What Mac OS is it running?
My Mac, the one I'm on right now, the Mac, oh wait, I'll tell you which one. About this, it's my iMac, okay? I'm running Catalina because it's a late 2013 iMac, so I can't, I'm not upgrading to the newer one. Can't do it. Or we said.
I don't know why, it should work. You need to know if they work on another computer. Maybe the drives are dead, the cases are dead. You tried the cable, something not right.
Yeah. Well, I'll try but in other words, you can plug in more than one backup drive to your computer, right? And it should show up?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, something's wrong with it then. We talked about it before and you said get a new cable, and if that doesn't work, the drive's probably bad. So maybe that's what's wrong, but
sometimes when drives don't work and you take them to another computer and they show up and you bring them back to the original computer, they show up for some strange reason.
Okay, well, I'll try that on the little MacBook Air because he has a backup drive on his, and I don't want to mess with that. So
does it make, when you plug it into if you open disk utility and you open it up with this drive plugged in, does disk utility spin and spin and spin?
Not that I remember, but I'll try again. It's been a while since I tried. I just
because if the drive is corrupted, that's what happens.
Okay.
It just spins and spins and spins, and if you just unplug it, it'll stop spinning. It's trying to fix that the drive.
Okay.
And if it's a big drive, it can take a long time, and sometimes if you have it plugged into your computer, the computer won't even boot, because when at boot time it tries to check the drive, and it just runs and checks and tries to check and isn't it? So
Okay.
yeah,
Well, I
that
don't
can.
want to mess anything else up, but I'll try these.
If you don't care anything about the drives that's on there, take them to another computer and see if it'll show up. If you want to start over, erase them there, and then bring it back.
I can also use them on a PC, right?
Are they still formatted the way they came from the store as Windows devices?
Well, no, I mean, I've used them on Macs, not on.
Oh,
but-
no.
Oh,
You
that
can
is.
buy a drive from the store and plug it into your Mac and it'll show up, but it'll be FAT32 or some Windows format. It'll work. You can see stuff, but typically you can't write to it. So it may be still formatted as a Windows disk. It should still show up though.
Huh.
So you need to do something about getting them, try them on another computer. And if they're still formatted for Windows, you never format them for a Mac when you bought them. If you don't want to take them to a Windows computer, you should format them as the Mac because you can't run disk utility on a Windows formatted disk. And also Time Machine won't back up to a Windows formatted disk. So you need to check that.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
Now, if you were using them previously and writing stuff to them, then they must be formatted for the Mac because you can't write to a Windows disk. You can read, but you can't write unless you buy a piece of third-party software like NTFS. I forget what they're called. I have one somewhere. There's a bunch of them.
Feeling better?
Makes them writable.
Okay, I'll try them on the MacBook Air and see if they show up there, and I'll find disk utility and I'll see what it does with that. I'm sure I checked it before, but I'll try all that again.
You're good.
Thanks.
You're good.
Okay, anybody else? We're half an hour. We got 5 videos. You want to move to the videos or got one last question?
Check chat. There's a
Videos.
question in chat. I mean,
we got some stuff in chat here. What do we got here? I have a DVD CD drive from Apple. I use it to copy CDs I own over to my Mac. According to Apple, there's no way to record individual songs. So you have music CDs you want to bring into iTunes or Apple Music?
Correct.
And not the whole album?
Correct. Is
God,
there any way to do that?
It's been years since I did my 10,000 songs. I don't remember. Well, you could just import the whole thing and then delete the songs you didn't want.
Yeah. Okay.
Anybody remember? Can you just? I would just push import and then delete them after the fact.
Okay.
I know you can do that.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
It's so long since I did it.
Yeah, I've been several years since I did my 1,000 CDs.
By the way,
I'm
to
missing
add on to the last question about the discs, if you want a disc that can be read by Windows and Macs and written to, and that's important,
Yes.
you want the exFAT format.
Okay.
FAT32, most modern Windows machines won't read it because it's too
Okay.
old. NTFS, you can read it on a Mac, but to write to it, you have to have special software, and most people don't have it. So exFAT is the safest way to go.
And that's writable native on the Mac?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's a new format to me.
It is relatively new, but I've noticed most of the flash drives that I'm buying now, that's the way they come now.
I would imagine your Mac OS needs to be a fairly new version to be able to deal with that also, because I'm sure older systems don't know about that.
Yeah.
Is it exFAT like in FAT or PAT?
EXFAT.
Okay, thank you.
You know, if you don't have Windows computers that you want to read this disk on, don't do that.
Okay.
Because you still wouldn't be able to repair it, I don't think, with disk utility or Disk Warrior or anything else, or Carbon Copy Cloner. I thought that even if it could read and write, even if you could write to it with Carbon Copy Cloner, I think that would be a bad idea. Okay, I don't think there's any, here's a link to the Reddit discussion about contacts. Okay, from what I can see, SuperDuper is unable to back up the most recent versions of Big Sur. Carbon Copy doesn't have this problem. You are correct, sir. Carbon Copy Cloner, the guy figured it out. The SuperDuper guy hasn't figured it out yet. So it's doable, technically, but he hasn't figured it out and updated SuperDuper. I imagine he will eventually because it is doable. I tried it and it works. I can verify it. All righty then. Shall we move to video?
Mhm.
Are we ready? So Chris is going to share his screen. And I'm going to move this to speaker view and roll this up. And okay. This is a brand new one this morning of Gary's Mac Basics series.
Basics of using the Mac menu bar. MacMost is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 800 supporters. Go to macmost.com/Patreon. There you can read more about the Patreon campaign, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. So the Mac menu bar is one of the fundamental differences between using Mac OS and using another system like Windows. The menu bar is always at the top. It's not part of the window that you're currently using, but it is focused on that window. So for instance here, if I'm editing a text edit document, all of the menu commands up here apply to this window, the one that is currently active. Now in this tutorial we're just going to deal with the menu itself, the left side of the menu bar. There are several menus in the menu bar on the left, and the first one just has the Apple symbol there and it's called the Apple menu. The next one after that has the name of the app that you're currently using. In this case the Finder. But you can see now that I'm using Text Edit, it's Text Edit instead of Finder. The name of the menu changes to reflect the app that you're currently using. So you can use it as an indicator to see which window is actually the active one. You can call this the App menu or Application menu. Then after that what you see will depend on the application you're using. Usually there are some standard menus like, for instance, we see File, Edit, View, Window, and Help. If I switch to Text Edit, we see File, Edit, View, Window, and Help are there. But in addition to that, there's a Format menu. If we switch to Safari, we could see File, Edit, View, Window, and Help. But there's also a History menu and a Bookmarks menu. Now each menu includes menu items or commands. If you click on the menu, the list of menu items appears. To use a menu item, you would then click on the menu item itself. So I can click on System Preferences here to bring up System Preferences. Note there are two ways to use menu items. The first is what I just showed you. Click once to select the menu. Click again to select the menu item. But you could also click and hold the menu, drag down to the menu item you want, and then release. Now sometimes menus go several levels deep. For instance, if I click on the View menu here, notice that Sort By actually has a submenu. So I can go one level deeper. Sometimes menus can go 2, 3, 4, or even more levels deep. Now also note sometimes you'll see check marks next to items. Like for instance in the Finder under View you'll see a check mark next to the view that you're currently using for the window. In this case it's the list view. But if I were to switch to icon view, now notice the check mark is there. You can find check marks in various different places. For instance here's another one. Under View Sort By, I see a check mark next to the option I've chosen. If I want to sort by name, then I select that, and now when I go back here I can see a check mark next to that. Now the Apple menu is unique in that it's always there no matter which app you're using with the same choices in it. You have choices that affect the entire system. For instance, you can use sleep, restart, shut down, log out. These are system functions, not functions of the app that you're currently using. All the other menus contain commands that change depending upon the app you're using. So for instance under File here in Finder you'll see things like New Finder window, New Folder, New Smart Folder, New Tab. These pertain to the Finder. But if you go to Text Edit, then File contains things pertaining to documents. So New for New Document, Open a document, Close, Save, Rename, Move. Things that you wouldn't find in the Finder but make sense here when you're editing documents in an app like Text Edit or Pages or Numbers or Word. In almost all apps under the App menu you'll find the Quit command. Now one thing you may notice when looking through menus is sometimes menu items are grayed out. Notice, for instance, copy is grayed out here. I can't select it. I can select other menu commands, but anything that's grayed out isn't available. The reason for that is because that function can't be performed right now. In this case, I can't copy text unless I have some text selected. And I don't. I just have the cursor sitting there at the end of this line. But if I were to select some text and then go to the Edit menu, I can see it now copy is active. So whenever you see a grayed out menu item, it means that you can't perform that function right now because of the mode you're in or what you have selected or what you're currently doing in the app. Now whenever you see a menu command with 3 dots after it, that means it's going to bring up a dialog box for further instruction. So if I select this, you can see it brings up this dialog box to ask me where I want to export this PDF to. A command that doesn't have that, like new here, doesn't require any additional instruction. New would just instantly create a new document. Also notice that next to some menu commands there are keyboard shortcuts. The symbols here and the letters tell you which keys will activate these menu commands without using the menu at all. So in this case I see the symbol for the Command key and B. So Command B will bold text. I don't need to go to Format, Font, Bold to bold text. I can just use Command B. Get to know these symbols. For instance, here for copy style is Option Command C, and you could see that symbol on the Option or Alt key on your keyboard. In the View menu here under Zoom In, you could see an up arrow. That's the shortcut for Shift. And then Enter Full Screen shows me a shortcut that uses Control Command and F. Now if you ever need to find a menu command, you can use the Help menu. The Help menu is available on almost every app you'll use. And notice the first thing at the top of Help is Search. You can search for a menu. So I'm going to search for Subscript. And you could see it finds it under Baseline Subscript. And if I move my cursor over it, I could use this here instead of going to the menu command. But I could also see exactly where it is. You could see here it's under Format, Font, Baseline, Subscript. A keyboard shortcut to get to the Help search function is Command Shift and then slash or Command question mark. And that takes you right there. Then you could search and then down arrow and then return and it would apply the command. Now there are a few times when you might not see the menu bar. One is if you go into System Preferences under Dock and Menu Bar. If you select Dock and Menu Bar here on the left, there's an option for automatically hide and show the menu bar. When you use that, the menu bar goes away at the top, but it will reappear if I move my cursor there. So it's a way of cleaning up your screen, focusing more on what you're doing, and giving you a little extra space. But also the menu bar goes away if you go into full screen mode. So you could do that with View, Enter Full Screen, or click on the green button there. And then you can see it takes the app window to full screen mode and the menu bar is gone. But to get it back, all you need to do is move your cursor up to the top of the screen. And then the menu bar as well as the window toolbar will appear. So now you can use this to click the green button or go to View, Exit Full Screen to go back to regular window mode with the menu bar. One of the keys to learning how to use any app is to simply look through all of the different menus and look at all the submenus in each menu and see what's possible. Try things out with sample documents that you create. And if you just come over from Windows, it does take a little while to get used to the fact that the menu bar is always here at the top. If I've got this window selected, the menu bar is here. If I go to Safari and I have this window selected, you can see the menu bar changes there. I don't see two different menu bars, one on each window. I will see toolbars with lots of similar commands and things there. But the full set of what you can really do in an app exists in the menu bar.
Pretty basic stuff, but it's all good. And it's been the same forever. Most all that stuff has existed since day one on the Mac. Any questions or comments on that? Do you like these Mac Basics one, people? Should we?
Yes.
He
Yes.
seems to be doing more and more of them. So it's good. Yeah, I think if you're really interested in it and you are a newbie to Mac, you go to his website, macmost.com, and look for the Mac Basics, search for Mac Basics, and he seems to have done many of these in the last few months. So you could go through a whole series of things and basically teach yourself how to use the computer. I don't know anybody who does them better than he does.
Well, it's really
Okay.
good It's great review even if you know your Mac.
No, when I watch these things, there's things in there that I forgot, or some things I never knew. I mean, when I first learned the Mac from Windows back when Windows was DOS, I actually went to a class where they taught this kind of stuff, and we practiced doing these things. And it became, after you do it for a while, it's ingrained in your brain. But sometimes there's so many different things, sometimes you forget these little tips.
Don't forget, Apple's changing the OS every now and then, so they might be introducing new things and stuff.
Yeah, sometimes they add things, they change things.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you've been using something for a very long time, it's really irritating when they change it. Like make alias used to be Command M. Well, that isn't what it is anymore. Or new, Command new is, they change what that does, Command N. Okay, so this one is pretty good. There's a lot of stuff in here that there's one especially in here that I forgot about, resizing the images when you drag them in. I guess I do the paperclip thing like he says, but pay attention to the making the size. I have people email me screenshots like he says, and they come through too tiny and I can't see what they're talking about. Okay, you can roll it.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Today, let me show you some tips for using photos in the Mail app on your Mac. MacMost is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 800 supporters. Go to MacMost.com/Patreon. There you could read more about the Patreon campaign, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. So there are a lot of different options you have when you attach a photo to an email message on your Mac. Unfortunately, I see a lot of people making some critical mistakes when attaching photos. And also there are some other options that people could benefit from they just don't know about. So I'm going to start off with the biggest mistake I see people making. They go to compose a new message and they want to attach a photo to it. Now let me do that the simplest way by dragging and dropping from a Finder window into a mail message. When you put it there, you'll see the image appear in the body of the message. That all looks fine, except if you look closely here, you'll see this pop-up menu to set the image size. A lot of people don't know that that's there and they don't see what it's doing. In this case, it's taking that photo, which is taken with an iPhone and it's pretty high resolution, and it's reducing it to 640 by 480, which is pretty small and only really good for viewing something on the screen. If your intention is to send somebody this photo so they can view a high quality version of it, or perhaps add it to their own photos collection or even print it, you don't want to use medium. You want to go to at least large. And you can see the file size change here. This is still a pretty small file compared to the original size. And large itself is actually only going to be 1280 by 960 in the case of this photo. If you really want to send them a good copy of it, you're going to have to go to actual size. And you can see the file size goes up quite a bit. But in this case, you get a really high quality version of this photo. A big mistake I see is people using medium or small and expecting the person on the other end to see details. I see this just about every day when somebody sends me a screenshot. I ask them for a screenshot like this, and they send me a screenshot, but they've got the image size set to small. And at that size, you can sometimes barely read the text that's on the screen. Now when you attach an image either by dragging and dropping it or using the paperclip button here at the top and then selecting a file, it's going to put the image exactly where your cursor is in the message. That is, unless under Edit, Attachments, you have Insert Attachments at End checked. Now when I go to drop an image here, even if I put it in the message, you can see I'm putting it above the signature, it's going to add it to the end every time. The selection in here will be remembered, so check or uncheck it as you want. Now sometimes I hear about people sending email messages to Windows users and the Windows users not being able to see the photos that are attached. This problem used to be pretty common, but now it's pretty rare. Now an important thing to remember about email is when you send an email to somebody, they're reading it using their email app, which is going to be different than yours. They might be using Windows. They might be on a mobile device. And how the message appears to them depends on their app. Their app could render things completely differently. Show them different fonts. Show them different styles. Show attachments in different ways. If you have a friend that uses Windows, particularly if they're using an older version of Windows, you might want to make sure that under Edit Attachments you have checked always send Windows-friendly attachments. That may help them if they're having trouble viewing the photos that you send. Now when you create a new message and then you click the Attach button here, there's an Options button and there's a checkbox for send Windows-friendly attachments. Then you can use this to do it on a per message basis. So when you receive an email message that has photos in it, you'll see those photos in line in the message. But if you want to get a better view of them, you can click to select a photo and then hit the space bar for Quick Look. This will bring up the Quick Look window just like in the Finder, and you can expand it or even click here to go full screen for that photo. You can also select all, Command A, and then use spacebar for Quick Look, and you could go through all of the different photos that are attached. Now if you want to save a photo from the message, you could drag and drop it. So I could take this photo here and drag and drop it to the Finder. I could also Control click or right click on a mouse, 2-finger click on a trackpad, and use Save Attachment to save that file with a standard File Save dialog. Also, if you go to the top to this line here and you hover your cursor over it, you'll have some controls. And one of those controls is to save all of the photos or just one of them. You can also export them all directly to the Photos app. Now when I reply to this message, by default the images won't be included. However, if I go to Edit, Attachments, I can select Include Original Attachments in Reply. Then when I reply, you can see the photos are there. And note, I still have this control here. So I can shrink these all to small. I can't use medium or large because these were already shrunk somewhat, so I can't increase the size like that. But if I go to actual size, it will include the originals. Now you don't need to have this option turned on all the time. You could reply. There's this button up here, Include Attachments from Original Message. Click that and you can see now it throws those in. Now sometimes viewing these photos can take up a lot of space on the screen. You can Control click and then choose View as Icon and do that for each one of these. And then they'll all be shrunk down to just icon size. You can Control click on them again and say View in Place. You can also just select one and then press the space bar to use Quick Look. Now if you rather not get the photos in your messages at all until you select to download them, there's an option for that. If you go to Mail, Preferences, and then go to Accounts and then select the account, under Account Information you should see Download Attachments and you can change from All to Recent or None. None means that it won't download those initially. You'd have to click on them and then it would download them from the server. Now when sending photos you should always be concerned about the file size, about how much data you're sending the receiver. When you go to compose a message, say I'm going to attach a bunch of photos. I'm going to drag and drop 17 photos to this message. Notice at the top here it's going to give me message size. You always want to pay attention to that to see how much you're sending. But also notice when it turns red it means you've exceeded the maximum size for a message according to your sender. It's going to depend on your email service. In this case I'm using iCloud and the maximum is 28.3 megs. So you can see this message isn't going to be able to send. I could do things like shrink the messages down and you can see now it's fine. But you should always shy away from sending lots of photos or any large attachments to somebody by email. You don't know what their situation is. Even if they have a high-speed connection at home and it's usually no problem, maybe they're getting your email message while they're out of the house or away from work where their mobile data is precious and you've just eaten a whole bunch of it up by sending a whole bunch of photos in a message. One setting that you've got for this is under Mail, Preferences, and Accounts, and then under Account Information there's Send Large Attachments with Mail Drop, and that uses Apple's special service that instead of attaching the image in the mail message it's actually going to put it in a temporary storage space on Apple servers. And then when they view the message it's going to download them from there. So it's not going to use the email service to send those attachments if they're too large. But it doesn't help the person on the other end as they'll still be downloading those large messages. So you may want to consider alternatives to actually sending lots of photos. One alternative I've talked about before is simply to create a shared album in the Photos app. You can select a bunch of photos, then go to File, Share, and create a shared album. Once you have a shared album like this one here, you can click here and set it to a public website so anybody can view it with just this link and then copy and paste this link into an email message. Or if they have an Apple ID you can invite them and only they would be able to see it. You can use other services as well like Google Photos or Flickr, or if you just want to do it one time you can go to a site like Imager and this allows you to just for free upload a photo. It creates a link to that photo and then you could share that in an email. So instead of somebody getting an email message that's a few megs in size, they get an email message that's tiny and it just links to the picture at a website. And of course, if you have your own web server, then it's easy to upload images to that web server and send them a link directly to those images. Now let's say you composed a message in Mail and you've attached a picture to it. You can do more than just send them the picture. You can also mark it up. If you look on the image here at the upper right hand corner, you'll see this button. Click that and choose Markup. And this allows you to use lots of tools, ones you may be familiar with from the Preview app, to mark up the image. So for instance, I can create a shape like an arrow and have the arrow point somewhere. I can add text and change the text size, font, color, all of that. I can even click here and then draw right on the image. I can even crop the image so I don't have to send him the entire thing. And then you'll send him this image. Your original image that you have is untouched. It's only this copy that you're sending them that actually has all these changes that are applied directly to the photo. Now also using your iPhone or iPad, you could take a photo and then have it directly attached to the message. So I could be composing a new message right here. And if I click this button here, use the options here, take photo, scan documents, or add sketch. And these will all then call out to my iPhone or iPad if I had one connected to the same Apple ID. It'll instantly show me the camera interface or the scanning interface or a drawing interface on my phone. And I could do any one of these. And then that would get attached to my mail message on my Mac. You also don't have to start the email message here like this and then attach photos to it. You could do it different ways. For instance, in the Photos app, you could select a photo and then use the share button here and then mail, and it will open up a new email message with that photo already attached. You can select multiple photos and do the same thing, and all those photos will be attached to the message. Another thing you could do is you could drag and drop a photo to the Mail app here in the dock, and it will do the same thing but with a file instead of from the Photos app. Now here's one last tip. Say you get an email from someone and has a bunch of different photos, and you save those photos out. You save them to the Finder, you save them to your Photos app, or maybe you just look at them and now you don't need to see them ever again. Well, you don't have to have those photos saved forever in your email archive. You can remove them from the message while keeping the text in the message. So maybe they included some important information in the text that you want to keep, but you just don't need those large photo files attached to it. When viewing the message, you can go to Message and then go to Remove Attachments. And that will remove those attachments from the message. You'll still have the original message. It'll still be saved in your archive, but now it's taking up much less space.
Stuff in there pretty fast. One thing people don't see, right in the middle there, he said there's a little hidden bar that hovers, and when he only shows up when you get your mouse near the center to the top where he said you could save the image or send it to the Photos app. That's very handy, but they should make that visible all the time, because that's really what you want to do, really, is get your photos into the Photos app, and then you could get rid of the email unless there's some text in there you wanted or something. Anybody got some questions or anything about that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, go ahead.
I missed what he said about how you can put photos in an album and send somebody an URL to see it. What was that?
Shared photo album.
Yeah, I guess so.
And it makes a shared album on your iCloud drive, I believe. You can do the same thing with Google Photos. That's what I do. Have all your photos up there, and then that's real easy to share there too. You send an email with a URL, and then they click it. They go to a web page, and the album's all there, slideshow, and all the functionality. I got a pet peeve with people will send you a huge video, and it takes up tons of space. And really, what they should do is just send you the link to wherever they found it, so you can play it yourself, and it doesn't clog your email, clog your downloads, take up space on your server space, and all that other stuff. Because videos are huge. Okay, so this is what I originally was going to do for this meeting before I found Gary's 3 videos since Sunday. So we've talked about this before. And I don't remember if we showed the video, but this is a little utility called DriveDx. So it's $20 for the full version, but there's a free trial. I believe it's 2 weeks, and it works on even old computers, 10.6 or higher. So especially if you have an old computer, you should run this, because you have an old hard drive, and 10-year-old hard drives are real sketchy, and you want to find out if they're going to die. So you run this little utility. If you only have one computer, you only need to run it, and check to see if it's good, if your hard drive's still good, especially if you got an older computer. I mean, some of these SSDs that I'm replacing, I go to check the drive and it was going bad anyway. And so it's not even, and even if it's a good drive, you find out if it's good, then you can repurpose it. You can take the drive out, put it in a case and use it for Time Machine, because most of these modern Macs have a 1 terabyte drive. And that's perfectly fine usually for people to do a Time Machine or a clone with. So there you go. We'll show a little, he has a little demo of this, and then I have it. I can show you if you have any questions.
I've got it on this machine as well, John.
I have it on every machine that I ever touch. I put this on here now. Because the trial's free. You can definitely check your drive.
All right, ready to go?
Hit it.
Welcome to Mac Tips. Today let's take a look at DriveDx from the developer Binary Fruit. DriveDx is the most advanced diagnostic and monitoring tool you could possibly find for a Mac OS X computer. Now, if you think of all the hours you spend working on photographs, movies, music, and personal documents on your computer, and then trusting them to a hard drive that's spinning thousands of times a minute, and just hoping it's not going to fail. As Dr. Mac always says, it's not a question of if your hard drive is going to fail, it's just a question of when. Now, until DriveDx came along, the very best tool you had to check your hard drive's health was Apple Disk Utility. Now, you just open up the Disk Utility and go down there way to the bottom and look at your smart status and see if it verified. If it did, you are pretty confident that your data would still be there tomorrow. Now, smart technology was first developed in the early 90s by IBM and first widely used by the folks over at Google to test and monitor the hard drives in their huge data centers. They found that certain characteristics on a hard drive changed over time, and when they changed in a certain way, it predicted the failure of those hard drives. Now, unfortunately, since then, smart technology has stagnated and become more proprietary for hard drive manufacturers and computers. These days, smart is no longer a reliable metric to gauge a hard drive's health. Now, when you install DriveDx on your computer, it puts an icon in the top menu bar, and it runs quietly in the background all the time. When you mouse over the icon, it shows you the current condition of your hard drives. Now, if you want additional information, you can click and see the detailed information about your hard drive. You can check your hard drive's health, save your health report, change your preferences, or launch the DriveDx application. Let's go ahead and do that now. The DriveDx main window has a wealth of information about your computer's hard drive. The diagnostic window shows you the health indicators, errors log, and self-test results. Let's take a look at the main window. This main window gives you an amazing array of information about your hard drive, an overall summary of the health of your hard drive, specific information about your particular type of storage device, any problems found, failed indicators, failing indicators, any warnings or failed self-tests, important health indicators, and temperature information and device capabilities. The very important health indicators are the ones you should really pay attention to. DriveDx not only shows you these critical health indicators, but also explains them in non-technical terms. So you're not just looking at a raw value, but also the significance of that particular metric in determining the overall health of your drive. Now, it's going to be important because DriveDx is going to be looking at these metrics over time to predict the future health of your drive. As we look at these health indicators, it's important to note that DriveDx is the only app that can diagnose and monitor both conventional hard drives and the new solid-state storage devices. Each of the displayed metrics are specific to your type of storage device, again with a full explanation, so you're not just looking at generic values, but the metrics that matter most to your particular drive. Now on the right side, you can look at the raw results for each of the tests as they run silently on your machine. And a graph gives you a quick look at the condition of your hard drive and a better idea of its predicted lifespan. Now that's going to be incredibly important if you have an older hard drive that may be headed for end of life and you want to see if anything is indicating a pending failure. Now, of course, no program can predict every failure, but DriveDx is the very best way to continuously monitor your computer's hard drive or SSD and warn you before a failure. You can also trigger short self-tests anytime you want, not just when it's running in the background. These self-tests offer diagnostics designed for your specific device. You can run a long version, which in this case will take about 32 minutes, or a short one, which will just take a couple of minutes. Let's run that one while we finish up now. Now, if you have computers at work, or a server at a data center or other location, you're going to want to be able to keep an eye out for storage issues and other pending drive failures. And that's where DriveDx really stands out, because you can tell it to run tests unattended and have it notify you before something goes wrong. DriveDx can send you an email, or if your carrier supports it, an email to SMS message, so you can be alerted immediately. Now that can make the vital difference between losing data and keeping it. Now as soon as this test finishes, I've asked it to send me an email with the results. Bam! Our DriveDx test is completed and the pop-up notification tells us that everything is okay. In the background, it's sending us an email with the full results. Let's take a look. Our results are in, and our MacBook Pro SSD is looking just fine, with over 95% of its lifespan remaining. Now to learn more about DriveDx, you'll want to spend some time on the Binary Fruit website. They have an excellent overview of DriveDx and also a detailed comparison of the different drive health diagnostics available on the Mac. That way you can see just how comprehensive DriveDx's diagnostic analysis and monitoring tools really are. No one else comes close to predicting your drive's health over time. DriveDx is available directly from Binary Fruit on their website, and you can even download a limited trial version so you can check it out yourself. Single and family licenses are available on the Binary Fruit website, along with enterprise and consultant licenses for power users. And you'll want to keep an eye out for current pricing and specials since they change often. DriveDx is also available in Apple's App Store. That version has slight differences, and you can read about them on the DriveDx website. No matter which version you choose, I think you're going to find that DriveDx is absolutely the most advanced drive analysis, diagnostic, and monitoring tool available for the Mac. And your data doesn't deserve anything less. For the Capital Macintosh Users Group, this is Mac Tips.
All righty then. I usually don't run this all the time. I run it, running in the background. But on the DVMUG servers, on the BBS and our FileMaker server and our macOS server, which backs up Anne's all accounts on her server, I have it running. And if it checks, I don't know how often it checks. I haven't looked at that lately, but it will send you an email. And I have it on the Mac Pro Tower we have at the office, which I use to pull the 2.5-inch hard drives out and stick them in there to run them, to check them. And then it sends emails, even if I don't want to. I get an email every time I run a check to see if it's any good. So if you didn't have you could put it on somebody's computer that didn't know too much about it, and you were helping them, and then it would just run in the background. And if some problem comes up, you would get an email say, hey, their hard drive over there is going bad. You better go do something about it before it dies. So definitely worth checking out. Run it on your machine. Good for 2 weeks. See what kind of issues you got. I mean, it's shocking to see. Sometimes the computer will still be running, and there'll be Chris had one the other day. What he baked a video card for me and got the video card running again. I knew the SATA was bad with this test, and he told me it was bad and printed the report. Sure enough, a week later, I got it back. The thing it died and wouldn't boot. It completely failed.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I don't have any more old hard drives. They're all SSDs. Is this the app to get, or is there something that's just for SSDs that's better possibly?
No, well, there are a bunch of utilities that are like this, and there are utilities that just check SSDs and not spinning hard drives. I used to have some of those before I found this. This does it all, and it's updated all the time. And this is Chris's report, right?
Yep, this is my computer.
Yep. And you just ran this quick self-test on an SSD. It's fast
Still,
because the SSD
still
is
running. Yeah.
Oh, it's still running?
Yeah, short self-test. See, running progress 70%.
Ah, and then the health indicators, there's 14. It'll give you the previous parameters.
So Chris, I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you download that app from Binary Fruit or from Apple's App Store?
I would go to Binary Fruit to download it because I suspect the App Store one's going to have some sort of restrictions and stuff. So go to the website.
Typically, utilities you get from the App Store sometimes are different than you get from the manufacturer because Apple restricts what those apps can do from the App Store.
Yeah, they got this technology called sandboxing, where an app, it can only be in its own little box and it's not allowed to access data from other apps and stuff like that. And with utilities like this, they need to get down to like low level of hardware and stuff and install utility apps like DriveDx. If you want to smart check an external drive via USB, then you have to install one of their little utilities. Chances are that may not work with the one you get from the App Store.
Right, you got to install. They'll tell you if they want you to install some extensions to do that.
Yeah.
But I got to warn you, I've tried that 2 different times and it made my computers unbootable. I had to boot off another drive and go hunt down the extensions and remove them. It wouldn't boot.
Oh, I've not had any problems.
Ken Mark said he did it. The second time it happened to me, I said, no more of that. So I take the drives that aren't internal out of a case or another computer and I put them in the tower computer at the office and check them.
Right.
I don't know why. It's like, it's a pain in the butt when your computer won't boot and you have to figure out what extension it was. So there's your health indicators. Usually there's more parameters than that. I guess that's because it's an SSD. Huh?
Right, yeah, it's an SSD.
Yeah, spinning drives have more parameters about aspects. You could see the little video we had about what the inside of a spinning hard drive looks like and why it's problematic. It's a record player. Spins at 5,400 to 7,200 RPM with the little arm that's bang, 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 bang.
I'm looking at the DriveDx on my desktop. I've got an SSD in there as the boot drive and a HD for all my, other stuff.
Yeah.
And its health is dropping. Its overall health rating is average at 53.4%, and its overall performance rating is average at 53.4%. So it's on my other computer, so I can't show you, but yeah. It's a well-used hard drive. It's probably about 5 years old, and it's been on for 36,000 hours.
Right.
It's how much terabytes has it written? I don't think it tells me how many terabytes is written, but it's
I noticed the reports on the server hard drives at the office, like they run 24/7, and their life is dwindling.
Yeah.
So, yeah, source trial tool, any computer I work on, I check this first to see if it's even worth working on. You don't want to do a bunch of work on a computer when the hard drive is going bad. All your work is out the window. So there you go. So, any questions about that?
John, you know, I can't see you. Hang on. So you know the Mac Minis we bought off that guy off Craigslist. They
Yeah.
came with these SSDs in it.
Yeah.
And I did a DriveDx on this. Wow. Talk about well used or what? I hadn't
Oh, because
used
those
it.
were server drives
They
or
were
something.
servers, and they were used for years. And these SSDs are well used. They still work. They're still okay.
Oh, that's part of the problem why the
I
first class server was already a well-used SSD. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's the SSD that was in those Mac Minis that we bought used. The SSDs are well used, not failing, but well used.
Right.
I didn't leave mine in there. I upgraded mine to a 512, but I took the SSD that was in it out, and boy, was it well used.
Yeah, especially if it's, I mean, if it's idling, it's not spinning like a spinning hard drive on you wearing out the bearings.
Right.
I guess if you're not using it and it's just on, it wouldn't wear out.
No, but with an SSD, if you're writing to it constantly, like a server.
Right. So the first class
server
server is writing to it all the time, doing stuff, and
yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I had my first SSD actually fail. My 500 that I use I plug into everybody's computer that has all the OS installs and all the utilities and stuff that I use. It's plugged into my machine all the time, writing updates to it. When I leave, I put it in my bag and I hook it to somebody else's computer. It's constantly in use. I was doing a transfer to one computer one day and it stopped transferring. I rebooted, plugged it, and stopped transferring. And the third time I plugged it in, it didn't see it. And when I tried to do disk utility, it says it wasn't a 500 meg. It was like a 1 meg. So the SSD,
so what SSD was it? What manufacturer?
I don't remember because I took a hammer to it. He wasted it. I actually cut it apart. I wanted to see what it lookoked like inside. It was just a bunch of chips.
Inside. You can tell.
It's just a bunch of
It's
chips
like
in
memory.
there.
So, but
I
was
don't
it a
remember what it
Samsung or
was,
not?
to tell you the truth.
It's important that
It
you
was
know.
one I bought new, I think.
Yeah, but
Maybe
did you
not.
buy Samsung or something else?
I don't remember.
Oh, come on, John.
I should have paid attention. But it was no just boom. I mean, it just like, it was gone instantly. Didn't show up. It showed up as being there, but it showed it as a 1 megabyte instead of 500. So that must have been some kind of a cache or something. I don't know. It was bizarre. Okay, so we got 2 more videos here. Both of these are sort of on the same topic. I use this one, pretty much install this on every computer I work on because this is free. We've talked about it before, about how to uninstall apps. It's real easy to use. It's a one-trick pony. And it works on, there's versions when you go to the website, different versions for each, like 4 different versions for OSs, depending on what you have, going back to 10.6. Works very well. And it's real easy to use. And the second one does the same thing, but it's more industrial, and it has a free version and then a pro version, and it does more things. It's more complicated, but everybody should pretty much have this. This is a no-brainer.
Hello, this is Nathan Lott for Cat Mac, and today I want to talk.
Right.
Now we all know that installing an application on macOS is very simple. Just drag your application to the applications folder, wait until it's fully copied, and then just open the app. But what if you actually want to remove these apps later on? Now Apple says that if you want to uninstall an application that you've installed through the Mac App Store, that you have to open up Launchpad and then press and hold on an icon until it starts to jiggle and then click the delete button. But if you have downloaded an app from a different source, then Apple leaves you pretty much hanging. They say that if your app doesn't have an uninstaller, simply drag it from the applications folder into the trash. But that is not a great way to delete applications because it will leave files behind on your Mac. So to fix that, there are many applications that are built to find these hidden files and delete them with the application that you want to remove. In this video, I will show you a simple and free tool called AppCleaner. You can download this tool on freemacsoft.net/appcleaner, and it's a very simple application. So this is what AppCleaner looks like if you open it up for the very first time, and it invites you to drop an app that you want to uninstall. So let me drag in a Finder window here with my applications. And let's say that I want to remove CyberDuck. Now CyberDuck is an application that I've downloaded from the internet. It didn't come from the Mac App Store. And let's just drag it in here and see all the hidden files that it has created on my system. So here AppCleaner says that it found 5 files that are related to CyberDuck. So this is the main application, and then these are all the files that CyberDuck has created on my Mac. These include files in application support, but also some caches. Now note that if I would just uninstall CyberDuck by dragging it to the trash, all these files would not have been deleted and would still be on my Mac. Now CyberDuck is not a pretty big offender, it just stores very small files, but apps like Spotify, for example, keep a very large cache of all the music that you've listened to. So that's just one way of removing applications from your Mac with AppCleaner. Another one is to use the list mode. If you click on this, it will show you a list of all the applications that it found on your Mac. And if you want to remove any of these, you just click on one. It will search for all the files that that application has created, and then you can click remove to remove them. So that was it for this video. Just a very quick tip on how to completely uninstall applications from your Mac and not just dragging the application to your trash. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button or give this video a thumbs up.
Okay, so that's pretty easy to use. He didn't mention one thing is, say you have GarageBand and iMovie and iWeb and iDVD from old computers migrated, and you don't use any of that stuff, and say you got a new computer, it's got a 256 gig SSD, and you want to save some of that space. Well, GarageBand has all kinds of loops and stuff. It's pretty big. When you try to do that, go ahead, do that, Chris. Do you even have it installed? Try dragging an Apple app on there.
There's Box Sync. How about that?
No, try an Apple app, like iMovie or even Photos. Yeah, any Apple app. GarageBand. Try GarageBand.
Okay.
Drag that over there. Oh, you can't do that, huh? Why? Because it's protected. Click the Preferences button. So if you really want to get GarageBand out of there, turn off the middle one that says Protect Default OS X Apps. Those are things installed by Apple. Then you can get rid of GarageBand, iDVD, iWeb, and you can get those off your computer. And you'll be surprised. Watch how much stuff GarageBand has in here. It has a bunch of stuff. It takes a long time to find it all.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is not even, all right. Notice the second item that's checked, a folder called GarageBand, 2.84 gigabytes. So if you throw the app away, GarageBand, it's going to leave behind that folder full of support files. So that's way bigger than the app itself, I bet. Yeah, that's even bigger than the app. So yeah, that's a good way to clean up some space if it's getting tight, is get rid of these things like this. So you can turn that preference on, get rid of it, and flick it back if you want to be safe and not throw away. It won't do running apps, like if an app is open and running, it'll also say can't do it. You have to quit the app. So besides that, that's about all there is. It's pretty simple.
Question? Can I?
Go ahead.
Sometimes if I'm upgrading something, updating an app, it has asked me to, well, maybe it's a different version, I guess. Yeah. And it'll ask, if I'm throwing away the old one, it will list all these things. But if I delete too many, then it kind of screws up the new version.
Well, when you're upgrading, you got to be careful, because if you use this app, it may delete your preferences. And when you install the new app, it'll think you just bought it and you'll have to re-register it. You don't want to necessarily get rid of your preferences when you upgrade, because you want to, sometimes it'll say, do you want to inherit the preferences from your old version, so all your stuff is the same. So that's a little trickier.
So there are some that I'm not sure. I guess I should not delete them in doubt.
Most apps, when you launch them, if you go to the app menu where the name of the app is running, it'll say check for updates. That's the good way to do it. And then it'll just install right over the top of the old one and keep everything you want to worry about. Anything, it'll work perfectly.
Yeah, I try to do that.
That works fine because they're anticipating that you have, they don't, it works right.
Right,
But sometimes you go download another one and you'll put it in and it'll have a different folder name. You'll end up with an old version and a new version. And then it kind of gets messy. Or this happens sometimes when people migrate their computer going back 10 years from old PowerPC machines, and then you'll see a slash in the applications, like a stop sign slash through the app, and you try to launch it, it says, this application is no longer supported on this architecture because it's 10 years old, it's PowerPC, it stopped working in Snow Leopard after you went past Snow Leopard. So you see stuff in there like that. Sometimes, like there's an app with a slash through it. That won't work on this computer anymore because it's PowerPC. And
it's not PowerPC.
Oh, that's
it'll work on El Capitan, but not on Sierra and High Sierra.
Oh, okay. So sometimes those apps, when you drop them into AppCleaner, it won't identify them. Sometimes it can find the extra files, and sometimes it can't. It's hit or miss. I don't know why that is, but sometimes you have no resort but to trash it manually. The best way, if you have like a Microsoft product or an Adobe product, they come with installers. Any Adobe product you have, in your utilities folder, there'll be an Adobe folder and there'll be an uninstaller, and that's what you want to run because Adobe puts stuff all over the place and it knows where it put everything from the receipt it made in your system, and it will go and get all the parts, and it takes quite a while to uninstall an Adobe app. And if you don't have that or it doesn't work, sometimes you'll launch it and it'll say, sorry, I can't run this installer, it's too old or something. Then you got to resort to AppCleaner and drag Photoshop on there, and it does a better job than just throwing the app away because Adobe just litters your system with stuff. And if you're done with Adobe stuff, like if you got rid of Flash and uninstalled it, and Acrobat Reader and uninstalled it, and you don't have any more Adobe stuff, you should probably use something like Easy Find to search for the word Adobe, because I guarantee you there's going to be stuff left over, and stuff that launches, extensions that launch, things that's running in the background that's trying to do updates and all kinds of nasty stuff that slows your computer down. There's no reason to have it anymore. Oh, you still have some Flash stuff hanging around, Chris?
This is non-Flash stuff. This is in my developer thing. These are files with the Flash name in it, but
with
it's
the
not
word Flash.
Yeah.
If you ever installed any Adobe, like Acrobat Reader, if you throw it away, then it has the plugin, the plugins for Safari and Firefox for PDF Reader, and those you don't have the app anymore. I found that recently, because since we uninstalled Flash, you don't need Adobe Reader anymore either. I get rid of that and try to get rid of all the other stuff. The reason this came to my mind, this AppCleaner, because a guy called me the other day and his computer was dead slow. He said, well, I'm getting all these error messages about multiple antivirus programs. And I thought, oh no, that's not good. So he brought it to the office and we spent 2 hours. He had 3 antivirus programs running at the same time, and his computer was pretty much unusable. And so we found the uninstallers for a couple of them from the manufacturer, ran them. One of them didn't have an uninstaller, so I used AppCleaner, got rid of that. And then and there was still stuff running. And this next program I'm going to show, this is very similar to AppCleaner, but it does more stuff. Went in and found all the remaining stuff. And once we got it all out of there, it worked again, but it was a mess. And so I asked him, why did you install 3 virus programs? He said, well, it was recommended by Consumer Reports was one of them. I said, oh my God. So it was pretty ugly. Okay, so this is the next one. This is a very similar, it does the basic app cleaning thing too, but it also does other stuff. Now this is there's a free version. I think you can actually get it in the App Store. And there's a pro version for more. The basic free version shows you all the stuff, but when you go to try to do some more advanced stuff, it'll say you need to buy the pro version, but it still shows you it's useful because you can see where the stuff is and you can manually go, oh, it's over here. And you can, I think there's a button to say show in the Finder, it opens that folder, and then you can drag it in. So you can eventually get there. And it's a worthwhile program when there's a lot of really old cruft around that's been migrated for years in computers. I usually do this because there's like, you don't believe the amount of old stuff people have thrown away, didn't use the AppCleaner app. It leaves behind all these remaining files where how do you find them? This has a reminders section where it shows you all the stuff that AppCleaner would have removed, and then you can remove them after the fact. So that's kind of what it's useful for. So go ahead and run it, and then I'll show you the program.
Meet new AppCleaner and Uninstaller, the tool that will help you uninstall any unnecessary program from your Mac. Go to the Applications tab. Sort the list of apps by name, size, or date. Then select the unneeded program and uninstall it completely. Use the Expert mode to operate with the app service files. Startup Program tab displays the user and system login items, launch agents, and system daemons, all the programs that start when the system boots. In this section, you can easily disable unneeded startup programs from running automatically. The Extension tab allows you to get rid of unneeded installation files, web browser extensions, screensavers, preference panes, internet plugins, and widgets. Switch to the Remaining Files tab and delete the leftovers of already removed apps. In the Default App section, you can choose the program that opens the specific files by default. For this, you should select the extension and set the needed program as a default one. That's it. AppCleaner and Uninstaller is your cleaning assistant for taking care of your Mac.
Wow.
Now that's a pretty quick overview for how much stuff this program can actually do.
I'm going to stop sharing, John. You can take over.
Yeah, go ahead. And do you ever use this program, Chris?
No, it looks good. I'm going to go
It's
find
good.
it.
It's very good.
It does look good.
Yeah. So any questions quickly? I'll share my screen and show you the app if you've got questions about it. So I'll share my screen. And there you got me. And we'll go side by side here. Side by side. Okay, now you can see me. Okay, we'll go to applications. Yes.
Could you state simply how is AppCleaner different than AppCleaner and Uninstaller?
AppCleaner is a one-trick pony. It just has a window that you drag it in there and it will delete the stuff. This looks at many more things. Extensions, the remaining apps of stuff that got left over if you just threw it in the trash. And after the fact, you can't do that. What you can't do with the basic AppCleaner free program, you can't, once you throw the program away, you can't find all the other stuff. Well, this will find all the other stuff, even after you threw it away the wrong way. And it'll look at, well, you'll see it has extensions. You can sort by date. There's all kinds of things you can do. It's much more complicated. So we have AppCleaner Uninstaller. So this is the free version. We'll look at that. This is the one you guys can get. So it works on 10.10 and up. I think this might be available in the App Store. Okay, so it takes a bit to scan. And this first section under applications, this is the same thing that AppCleaner does for free. Same exact thing. basically. It shows you a list of stuff and you can pick the thing you want to get rid of. Say I wanted to get rid of Adobe Reader. Now we got to wait a bit because it's got to scan all my apps. I should have preloaded this. And then like the free App Cleaner program, it'll show you what it's going to do with little check boxes where you can say, okay, I really don't want to get, so there's your stuff. You can say, all right, so I want to get rid of all that and all that related to it. Actually, I think you could just check this box and it checks them all. So this is all the stuff that's related to Acrobat Reader. And you can see if you just throw the app away, there's a lot of stuff in here that it doesn't get rid of. So, and you could, if you wanted to keep part of this, you could individually say, oh, I really want to keep the preference for that or whatever. So App Cleaner does the same thing. List, check boxes, whatever. Push remove, it will go away. Okay, that's basically the same as the other program. The other stuff is this scans all the programs, all the things that are loading at startup time. And you can actually turn them on and off here. If you want App Cleaner to load at startup, you could turn it on, or Carbon Copy Cloner, or these things that you never see, launch agents, launch system daemons. All this stuff's launching at startup time. And you can see a lot of this stuff comes from Microsoft, Google, and Adobe. So if you have Adobe software, and you throw the app away and you don't uninstall it, all this stuff is still launching at startup time, slowing your computer down. So you can turn these off so they don't launch at startup time, or I think you could just disable it. You can't delete it from here. Okay, then there's extensions. Okay, these are, when you download something from, I don't have any installation files on here, but you download an DMG installer and it goes in your downloads folder. I see this all the time. And then you run it and install it and you don't throw it away from your downloads folder. I've seen thousands of items into people's download folders, like Adobe Reader updaters, Flash updaters, 10, 20, 30 of those going back over years. So you can get rid of them. If I had any, you could get rid of them from here. These are web browser extensions. This new one means this little red, there's 4 new items in here since the last time it ran. So you can see what was installed new. Well, the reason this is new is because there was an update to this, and Grammarly was updated and LastPass was updated like yesterday. So these are new items. It's alerting you that there was new system web browser extensions installed. Okay, and if you don't want those, if I didn't want Grammarly anymore, I could remove it. Actually, I think that's grayed out because this is the demo version. Yeah, it says Get Pro. So the Pro version would actually let you do that. I think this portion is free, just like the App Cleaner is free. I think you can remove these. Maybe not. Let's see. No, it's grayed out. I'm not sure why.
Select something, no?
Oh yeah, nothing's okay. There, I could delete it. Yeah, there you go. I wonder if that's true with extension. I guess I have to select something here. Say if I wanted to get rid of Grammarly, I think that's a Pro version. I think the app this portion is free and this is pro things. This is the one that's really good. These are all the remainder files that are left over after you get rid of a program. Now, some things in here are questionable, like I still use LastPass, so why does it think that's a remainder? I wouldn't delete that because I use that. But I want to show you, look at this list. And I've cleaned this computer. So you can get rid of stuff. And the nice thing is you can sort by, okay, all large and old files that are hanging around. Okay, well, there's something. Old ad block files, Dynamo. I don't know what that program is. Simplify Media. Or you can see, okay, show me all files, and you can sort by, okay, the oldest. Usually you want to look at the oldest stuff. Okay, whoops, what am I doing? Newest. Sort by the oldest. Show me the oldest stuff in here. How old is this stuff? Because this has been hanging around since 2007. I haven't cleaned this. This has been migrated forward from older computers over the years, 10 years worth or more. These aren't really concerning. They're just tiny little files, but because mostly I've cleaned this out. But there you go. This is something that's really hard to do otherwise. Sometimes you'll find a folder in here for like the Adobe stuff that you threw away, and you'll find just, you know, tons of large stuff in here. And then it has this feature to set default apps, which you could do with Get Info. So if you want to change the default app I have set to open PDFs as Adobe Reader, but maybe you want to get rid of Adobe Reader. If you just throw away Adobe Reader, it will go back and default to preview. But if you have Adobe Reader installed and really you want to change everything to this, and I push it and I set default, then when I double click a PDF, it will now open in preview instead of Adobe Reader. And same with DOC files. Now they're set to open with Word, but I could say AppCleaner wants to control the Finder, allowing access to, yeah. So this is, I have to, in Big Sur, you have to actually allow this to happen. So I can say, okay, open the preferences. It's a, should open preferences, and it didn't do that. I'm not sure what, oh, once, we'll ignore that for now, okay. So that's another trick it can do. You could do this in the Finder with the Get Info window also. Well, I wanted to open DOC files in, I should see LibreOffice. Yeah, I want to change that to LibreOffice. I could set LibreOffice. So when I double click the DOC, it would open LibreOffice. So that's that feature. This is, I find this to be useful. This is useful for seeing stuff, and this is useful for seeing stuff too. This is the thing that's hard to see anywhere else unless you run Etrecheck, and it will tell you if stuff's in here that some of this stuff could be obsolete. This doesn't tell you it's obsolete. I've probably gotten rid of all the obsolete stuff on this. I'm pretty sure I have. This is Big Sur, so I've cleaned all the 64-bit out, 32-bit apps out of here with Go64. See, here's stuff hanging around. This should be turned off. I don't have, CS4 doesn't run on this computer, and I haven't noticed that. I need to turn that off. I do have, CS5 doesn't run on this computer anymore either. So that shouldn't be running. Something that's running in the background. And I ran the uninstaller on this for the Adobe products, and that's still left behind.
How come you're just disabling it and not removing it?
I'll go get rid of it later.
Okay.
I need to run Etrecheck and go look at that stuff. I didn't realize that was still there. Because I don't have Adobe, I don't have any Adobe products on here, I don't think, because I have a reader. Oh, I have Bridge, and Bridge requires Creative Cloud, but I don't have Dreamweaver and Photoshop here because my versions don't run on here. So I can probably go in there and trim some more of that stuff. That's a lot of stuff for only having these 3 Adobe things. A lot of Adobe crap in here. Look at that. Nasty. Don't need that. Adobe Genuine. Well, I may need that for a Bridge. Bridge requires you to log into Creative Cloud to run and have an account. That some of these may be related to that. Microsoft puts stuff in there. New, this is a new thing we got. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Questions about this?
What exactly is a daemon?
Launch daemons and launch, they're things that start on your computer, and when you start the computer and they're running in the background a lot of times and you don't see them. Let's look in here. You go into your Big Sur hard drive, and you look in library, There's 2 folders in here with the word launch. Launch agents. Those are all the things that are starting up when I start the computer. Look at all the Adobe stuff in there. This is the same list that I saw in that program, but you can manually go see this stuff. These are all starting at startup time and running in the background, and you don't see them. And also these things here.
Wow, you got a lot of stuff, John.
I know I got a lot of stuff, huh?
I clean mine out all the time, so
I don't think I need
5 or
VirtualBox anymore. I don't know why that's there.
If you're not using it, you don't need it.
Not using it anymore.
What's that? Net what route?
See, Adobe stuff, that's Carbon Copy Cloner. That's Mac's Fan Control. Malware Bytes, Microsoft Office, Jump Desktop, I use that. ProSoft, that's a ProSoft utility of some kind. That's, don't know what that is. Muris, that's a firewall. WhatRoute, I have that utility. There's 2 WhatRoute things. And Wireshark, that's a utility. Those are low-level utilities that dig into the network and look at stuff. So they need to have background things happening. So yeah, I do have a lot of stuff, huh?
Yeah.
I need to look at some of this Adobe stuff. Yeah, most of the stuff I recognize. So if you have Malware Bytes, you'll have this. It doesn't work without it. If you have Office, it doesn't work without it.
I just deleted my auto update helper.plist because on High Sierra, you can't update Office 365
No, there's no more
anymore.
updates left.
No more updates. So I deleted that because I don't want the auto update running in the background or anything.
Yeah.
But I had to leave the Office licensing helper because otherwise Office won't run.
Yeah, you got to be careful sometimes. Sometimes things stop working if you delete stuff like that.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Especially on newer stuff like Office 2008. I don't think that they don't care about that anymore. They're not checking the license anymore.
So John, are you suggesting we have the AppCleaner and the AppCleaner Uninstaller?
No, just know that this exists. I mean, this this program is, you need to pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah, no.
Any of these kind of programs going way back, whether it was one going way back that was really dangerous, it found all the README files and wanted to delete them all because there were duplicates or something.
Yeah.
These are assistants to help you do things easier. Most of these things you could do manually by hunting around like we did in the system and knowing what it is and figuring it out. This kind of helps you see what that is. And if you don't know what it is, don't do it because you could break something.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
You don't just say, oh, I don't know what that is, delete it. Say, if you turn that off, then Malware Bytes won't work anymore.
Yeah.
You turn this one off. See, you might not recognize that. That's Carbon Copy Cloner. You know, so if you have Adobe products, you need to pay attention because you probably need all the Adobe stuff or it'll break. I probably don't need that anymore because I don't have any. I might have Office installed on this computer. I may have 2016 installed on here.
Yeah,
I think I do. I think this is 2016. Yeah, that's the current version. That's why that's there. Still uses that.
So for those of us who are not, I mean, you're doing this stuff, I wouldn't recognize it at all. I'm just going to use the simple app cleaner, right?
Yeah, that's all you need. But just know that there are tools to help you do kinds of stuff if you want to know more about stuff.
Yeah.
These things that have a slash to them no longer work, but these are actually shortcuts from Fetch that made little mini applications. So those are synced to my Dropbox and my iCloud on computers where they do work. If I delete them here, it'll delete them off the other computers, and then I won't have a clickable link. So that's why those exist. So,
John.
Yes.
I've been using the app cleaner for a long time, and I love it.
Yep. I don't know how he makes money. There's no pro version or anything. He never asked for a donation. It just works. I don't. Maybe he has other software he wants you to go look at. I don't know.
Can I
But this
ask?
is, I'm gonna quit. Any more questions about this? We can, just
No.
know that this exists. There's another tool, so you need to do more stuff. You can do it. It is available, and there is a demo version or a free version to poke at it with. And I can,
Can I ask about my disk mounting problems again?
yes. Did you try it on another computer?
I did, and it showed up on
Aha!
disk utility. Okay, but here's the problem. Now I can't dismount it.
What is it? Well, you got to quit all your. One way to dismount it is just shut the computer down.
Okay, I'll try that.
Then plug it into your. It may show up in your other computer. It's been known to happen.
Now,
So-
once I've shut the computer down, can I just unplug it then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Good. I was afraid to do anything for fair. It always scolds me if I unplug it without dismounting it.
Yeah. Once you shut the computer down, it's off. It says you do have Seagate and software installed. I would uninstall that. You
Okay,
don't
I'll look
want-
for that.
You don't want that. I mean, sometimes people actually format their drives with that and they get them password protected and then it's a big mess.
Okay.
Somebody's got, Lee got his hand up. He's waving at me.
Thank you.
Yes.
Plug it in and see, let us know what happens. Lee.
Zapper, is that equivalent to AppCleaner?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, my volume's down. I can't hear you very well.
He's asking about App Zapper, John.
Oh, App Zapper. App Zapper was not free. It was a paid program. And so it does the same thing, but it's not free. I usually get rid of it and use App. You can use AppCleaner to get rid of App Zapper.
I like App Zapper because of the sound it makes.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it still being updated? It was. I don't know. Have you ever seen an update for it recently? Does it still work in Big Sur?
I don't know. I have the paid version.
Do you ever see it when you launch it and you go to the menu? Does it have a check for
I'm
updates?
checking now.
It's working, John. Thank you.
So that's mysteriously taking it to another computer and bringing it back, mounted it. I don't know why it does that. That's the first thing I try when it doesn't do that, and I don't understand why.
It says my App Zapper is up to date, version 202.
Okay, and it's working. You can launch it in Big Sur. It does the same thing as AppCleaner for free.
But it goes, pew!
Yeah. Okie dokie. Anybody else got anything else? We pretty much burned up 2 hours, almost. Where's the best place to get? One new message. Hold on, I can't see that. Okay, where's the best place to get AppCleaner? Open up your favorite web browser, go to Google, type in AppCleaner, all one word. You'll see it at the top. It's FreeSoft, I think. You see that? Try it. That's what I always do when I'm working on somebody else's computer. I just go to Google and type AppCleaner, all one word, no space, and then it shows right up. What does she say here? You can speak, you don't have to type. Thanks. Didn't know Google it or App Store. We'll try it. Google knows everything, people. Google knows all.
I know, but I just wasn't sure whether I needed to go to the Apple Store or to.
I don't know if it's in the Apple Store or not. It may be. Anybody ever want to look in the App Store? See if it's available?
I'll Google it.
If stuff is available in the App Store, it's nice to get it there because then it shows up in the App Store when there's updates. There's a little red button. You can see when there's an update automatically.
I'm pretty
Even when you're
sure
not-
that's where I got mine, because I didn't,
Yeah.
I don't download from other sites because some
Yeah,
of them I
could-
don't trust.
Yeah, could very well be. Yeah, that's the best. Like EtreCheck is available in the App Store, but it's a limited version. And then EtreCheck has several layers of pro versions now that is not available in the App Store because they do system level stuff and Apple doesn't allow that. And it's getting worse all the time where they won't let you full disk. A lot of these programs like, so AppCleaner and Uninstaller, I believe, I'll show you what you have to do here. Let me share my screen. So a lot of these utilities now, Carbon Copy Cloner, gets worse and worse as the systems go forward. There's this thing called full disk access. So you go to security and privacy. And in here, there's a section called, one of them is accessibility. Some programs need to have accessibility to control your screen to do stuff, but this is the big one, full disk access. A lot of these programs, they won't look in your system. They need to do stuff. So you need to allow them to go in there or else they won't do their full job. You can't, Go64 can't dig into your system. It won't, Apple won't let you read in there. All these programs need to go into the system to do stuff, especially if you want to delete stuff or manipulate stuff. So you have to go in here, you have to click here, you have to put in your password and unlock it before you can get in here. And then usually they will put themselves in here and then you can turn on the checkbox, but sometimes they won't put themselves in here. Then you got to go push plus, you go to your applications, you got to go find the thing that you want to let malware bite. You got to, then it goes in there and then you can do it. A lot of programs like this, they know that they need to do this. They'll come up with a screen when you launch them. Please go here. Sometimes I'll have a little animated thing of a picture of what you're supposed to go do. Sometimes they will open system preferences for you. Everyone's different how they're trying to help you do this because this is a new thing on, started maybe in Mojave, where full disk access is. So most of these programs need to do that. BBEdit, I don't think it needs to go and do that, so I didn't let it. Do it? I'm not sure. I'm going to turn that on. Yeah, so and then it'll say, okay, you need to quit the program and restart it to allow that. Mac Tracker doesn't need to be looking in my system. Zoom doesn't mean to be looking in there, but a lot of these other programs, if you run Easy Find without doing that, it can't go find the hidden files in your system to delete them, to do things you want to do. So it's kind of a pain in the butt, but it's making your system more secure. I'll stop share. Okay. Anybody find AppCleaner in the App Store? Anybody look?
No, I found it. I Googled it. App Store,
Yeah.
I can find it.
Yeah, that's what I usually do. Okay, I'm gonna close the chat here, close that. What do we got? Anything else? We got almost 5 o'clock. Batten down the hatches, it's coming tonight. Is it raining yet? Anybody look out their window?
Oh, yeah, it's raining.
Yeah, well, it's gonna rain from now all night and 2 inches or something crazy.
Yeah.
I have 3.5 inches of snow right now.
You do?
Whoa.
Yes.
Ooh.
Well, I think the fire hose is aimed at like California.
Sounds like it.
We need it.
Yeah.
We're gonna get it all at once, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They already put out the evacuation warnings in Santa Cruz Mountains before it even started because they know it's gonna be a problem in the burn scar.
Thanks.
Okay, we all good?
Good. Excellent meeting.
Yeah.
Next
Sure.
meeting we're gonna have next
Thank
Tuesday
you.
will be Mike with the class. Not sure what the class is. Anybody remember? I'll look it up real quick. Classes. Let's see, that's not classes. Let's see, so that would be February 2nd, staying safe with Apple products. So that would be security stuff. So that should be interesting. That's always people are interested in that. And that does not mean install 3 virus programs, people. It means 0 virus programs. There are no Mac viruses, and that's not where the problem lies. Okay, so let's wind it up. I'll say view gallery. I'll say nighty night.
All right.
Bye.
And we'll stop.